Hi, my name's Jercyan and welcome back to Staring at Map Screen. Salmy's with me today. How you doing, man?
Heyo, doing very, very good.
And as promised, we are back to talk about Metroid Dread. Metroid number 5. Metroid the 5th. 1 plus 4.
One plus. Got that. I
We are
got that
back
one
with
late.
the 5th game in the mainline Metroid series, and we've played this game a lot. I've personally beat it twice, once in regular mode, once in hard mode, and
Hmm.
I tried to do some of the sequence breaks on my second run. I didn't do much of that, but I know you've been playing too, Salmi. What's been your experience with Dread so far? Have you beaten it?
I have beaten it. I don't remember. I lost count. I honestly lost count of how many times I beat it. I just love this game. Like, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. This game is amazing. It was worth the wait, and I freaking love it. I can't stop playing it. I can't stop like doing the whole sequence breaks and whatnot. It's really, really fun. I can't stress that enough. It's super fun.
It sure is. I have a checklist here and I wrote search action, check. Cower and hide, check. Oh lord, he coming, you better run, check. And that is a new one for Metroidvanias. I did not expect to spend that much time running, that much time hiding, and that much
Hmm.
time looking at a game over screen. Metroid
Oh God,
Dread
yeah.
implements a stalker character, very, very different from other Metroidvanias
Hmm.
in the series, and let's say they were more random than I expected. This game was
Yes.
not as scripted as, let's say, Fusion, but we have a list of things to talk about. I want to give just a few complaints first. The
Yes.
control scheme. The last game in the series was on 3DS, and before that, we were on Game Boy Advance. Both the 3DS and the Game Boy Advance aren't proper controllers, even though if you have a new 3DS, you have the full controller with the 4 face buttons and 4 shoulder buttons.
Yep.
I think this game uses all the damn buttons, even the click
Yeah.
in the right stick or click in the left stick buttons, and then that's
Yep.
like, you're even using those? Come
Yep.
on.
Everything. Every single button on the controller. Like, oh God. Like, by the end, like, cause yeah, like when you start the game, you only use like two buttons, like just jump and shoot, and well, counter, of course. But yeah. But by the end of the game, when you get all the power ups, you're back to like, I am the bounty hunter mode. Literally every freaking but I'm surprised that the volume up and volume down controls of the Switch don't do something else in the game, because goddamn.
This game sometimes expect you to do like claw motions because you have your left
Hmm.
thumb on the analog, you have your right index finger pressing the R, the first shoulder button, then you have to press the other shoulder button, then you have to have
Hmm.
your right thumb to press the X to shoot. It's a
Hmm.
lot. I just want to say this game accentuated how much I suck at aiming, but I did
Same.
enjoy the new missiles, and we'll talk about that further along.
Yes.
I wanted to say that the power bomb deserved better.
Yeah, it did. Power bomb's still gonna power bomb, but like, can I just spoil it a little bit?
Yeah, you
Like,
can. Warning,
uh,
we're gonna spoil the ever living heck out of Metroid Dread.
oh
It's
yeah,
been long enough. If you care about this game, go play the game. Go watch a playthrough. Do something because we're gonna talk
yeah,
about everything. Go
exactly.
ahead.
Go play it, go watch it, or whatever you want to do. But go do that before listening to this. But yeah, spoiler warning aside, it's just like you said, the power bomb deserved better, because like it's the power bomb that we all know and love in terms of what it does. But you get it so freaking late in the game. It's literally the last power up that you get, and that's a shame because like there's a few collectibles that you need the power bomb to be able to get them, and the fact that you get it like super late in the game and you have to like backtrack so much, it's kind of a letdown, honestly.
And
Like it should have.
it's not only the backtracking, it's that during my exploring, I found power bomb upgrades. So I had more
Yes.
bombs that I still didn't know how to use, and you get that unknown message.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I know what it is,
that
it's
that's
not unknown.
That's the funny thing. Like you get power bomb extra upgrades. Like you get more power bombs during the game, and like there are some that you can get super easy. Like you just find a room and oh hey here you are. How's it going? Nope. You can't use them. This is not Super Metroid where you just simply got one power bomb. It doesn't matter which power bomb upgrade you got first. Nope, yep, they're ready to go. Nope, this is not Super Metroid. God damn it, man.
Yeah, and the
It's a
premise,
shame.
if we talk a bit about the story, the premise is
Mhm.
that Samus is going to attack, not going to attack, she's going to a planet because the Federation has found X-parasites on this planet. We all know from Fusion that Samus eats the X-parasites and she goes, oh, planet full of X-parasites, time to go have some dinner.
Have a meal. I'm
Yeah.
hungry and I ain't got no money.
But things don't go especially well when she lands on the planet because she needs one of the new characters. Ravenbeak is your
Yeah.
step bird daddy.
Bird daddy.
And it doesn't go well in Samus's first encounter with Ravenbeak. She is not fully powered up, but she starts the game with all her missiles and all of that, but he still easily overpowers her. How did you like that intro cutscene?
Oh, it was something else, honestly. When it started out, I know that we already saw that intro cutscene in trailers before, but when seeing it again, like on my Switch, it was like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is the Samus that we know and love. This is the badass bounty hunter that I remember, and it was just amazing. It was definitely a high intro quality thingy. I don't know how to put it to words. I'm already I'm already fumbled up here.
Yeah,
But yeah,
the game starts out very strong and it shows you that this person who could possibly be the final boss is much stronger than Samus. And other than that, the person is wearing a power suit similar to Samus's power suit. They have an arm cannon as well, and they seem to be of the Chozo race.
Yep.
The Chozo are supposedly extinct or they're lost in the galaxy, so it's cool seeing Chozo. Later in the game, we learn that there's different tribes within the Chozo, but it's cool how these people that raised, or this race that raised Samus, had plans for her, and like ulterior motives.
yeah, it definitely is like a plot twist that you don't expect, or maybe you do expect, but even if you do, it's still like a whoa, okay, this is a thing. Honestly, it's really good. Finally, being able to see a live Chozo on a game, because the most that we got from other games were like statues or spirits or whatnot. Like this is the first time that we see a Chozo that's like in the, not the flesh, maybe the feathers, in the feathers, but yeah, you get what I mean.
In the feathers.
In the yeah. But yeah, it's really good finally seeing one, even though it's evil and whatnot. But yeah,
It was good to finally be face to face with one of the Chozo, and to have them be the antagonist was also pretty cool. Alright,
yeah,
so let's talk about the new powers, and I'm going to list them. You tell me what's your favorite, and we can describe them if you want. In this game, Samus gets the Phantom Cloak, Spider Magnet, the Flash Shift, a very anime looking power, the Crossbow, and the Storm Missile. And I will not count this as a new power, even though the list on the internet counted as a new power. The Pulse Radar is just an evolved Scan Pulse, which is just an evolved X-ray scope.
exactly. It literally does the same thing as the Scan Radar from Metroid to Samus Returns.
Scan Pulse in Samus Returns and X-ray scope in Super. That's just the Pulse Radar getting better or feeling more modern. I won't count that. So let's talk about the new powers and how my favorite is the Flash Shift.
Yes, same, honestly, same.
The Flash List allows you to quickly move from one side or the other. You can move 3 times in one direction, 2 times in one direction, or you can move back and forth, and it's very useful when avoiding damage on bosses or to get to places that your regular jump will not let you get to there. Did you like this? Did you like another one of the other powers better?
No. The Flash Shift is out of all of the new power-ups that she gets, Flash Shift is definitely my favorite because speed. And it's just so useful, like not just for speed purposes, as you can go. It's basically a dash when you look at it. The good thing is that you can do it basically in the air or in the ground, like wherever. And like you said, it's like three. You get 3 reps out of it, and it's just so much fun. Like being able to just dash around like in the air and midair and be able to get some items that you wouldn't be able to get before and whatnot. It's so useful. Like I love the Flash Shift. It's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, and the Aeon energy meter that Samus uses for the Flash Shift and the Phantom Cloak, it's pretty generous, and I think the meter's coming back from Samus Returns. And it
Yes,
begs
yes,
to
it
say
is.
that this game was developed by the same team that worked on Samus Returns, Mercury's team.
Yeah.
And lastly, the cross bombs are self-explanatory. You make an explosion in a cross shape, and it can impulse Samus in her morph ball form, like it can launch her. And
Yeah, even higher.
the best new offensive power, the storm missile. Can you
Mm-hmm.
explain that one?
Basically, you lock on to 5 possible different targets, or if you're against like a boss or something, you can just lock onto it multiple times, and you just basically create a missile Armageddon, and then you just shoot them repeatedly with that after locking onto them. It's useful also for opening like a certain type of doors that have like 5 little things that you need to shoot after locking onto them. That's also
Yeah,
useful.
like 5 switches.
Exactly. 5 switches, exactly. And yeah, basically it's that. It's just like you log onto it and you let it rain, basically. And it's also another really good power up. It's especially for bosses because it melts their health like crazy. Like it's if you know how to use it mid fight, or if you're kind of like me and you're just flash shifting around while using the storm missile, like yeah, you're gonna have a good time logging onto them and just making the missiles rain on them. So yeah.
Very useful against that final boss too.
Yep.
So let's talk about the bosses and mini bosses in the game.
Yes.
The first boss is where you get the Phantom Cloak ability from. This boss really felt like something out of Samus Returns. Like I really hoped, oh, the rest of the game, I hope the bosses aren't like this one, because it felt, I know it's an intro boss, but it felt really easy and really Mario-like. Oh, you have to wait for the boss to do the thing to hit them. There's a specific place to counter, and you can either attack the head or attack the tail. And what I mean by that is you're attacking a glowing spot. So kind of boring for Metroid veterans like Nata, like Salmy and me. But
Yeah, basically, like
I, I
it's
I'm glad most of the rest of the bosses weren't like that.
yeah, no, definitely, because it works as an intro boss. Like it does the job. But yeah, like honestly, thankfully the rest of the bosses were not like it. It's like, okay, this is the first boss. This is kind of like the setup to what you're gonna be fighting later on. Like this is just the baby boss. This is just the baby boss. After this, you better get ready to like die a few times on a few bosses if you're gonna fight them for the first time. Because I did die on a few bosses. I'm not gonna lie. Did die while I was trying to learn the pattern. So
I
yeah.
died too to a couple of them. So let's go
Yeah.
back. Let's move on to another boss. This one is pretty
Mhm.
fun. The Kraid. Kraid is a
Oh yeah.
returning boss, and I guess it's a clone this time. And it's standing in lava, but it can swim in lava. The
Yeah.
Kraid fight was
Like
interesting because it is tied to the wall, and you have to avoid its projectiles and fingernails, which is really
yeah,
weird. But I
weird
really
nails.
enjoyed how every major boss in this game has an intro cutscene. I really enjoyed the intro cutscene when Samus faces Kraid, because she is a badass, and they do this thing where you see her in the background of the shot. She's not the focus of a shot, but she is charging her laser, and it's like, ah, yes.
Yeah, and then she shoots him in the mouth. Like, shut up! I'm gonna defeat you again. I've done like well, how many times before? Like 2 times already.
Yeah. What did you think about this fight, and how long did it take you to figure it out the first time?
I won't lie. I did die the first time that I faced him because even though that I mean I'm already used to Kraid, I'm already used to his attacks and whatnot. He has like a few new things to keep the boss fresh. I really like that though. Like it's really fun how they make you like use the power ups that you have up until that point. Or if you sequence break and get the bombs, you can do like something really special. But yeah, but it's a really fun second main boss per se. it was a really cool to see Kraid back and still be Kraid basically. Like even though he's all tied up and kind of like disgusting because he looks a little bit disgusting in this game. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
the
But yeah,
higher fidelity on Kraid makes it look extra disgusting, and that
yeah,
sequence break that you talked about, using
yeah,
the morph ball bombs to destroy his insides. One little touch
yeah.
that I liked seeing is that Samus's life will go down while she is inside his insides and bombing the crap out of it. Her life is like
Yeah,
she is losing life because his insides are toxic to her suit, I guess.
exactly. Yeah, and it's nice. It's a nice touch because it's kind of like a callback to Samus Returns or Return of Samus, whichever.
Yeah.
Because like you can get inside the Queen Metroid and still damages your suit, so it's kind of like a callback to that in a way. So I really like that little nod to it. So yeah.
Did you get inside Queen Metroid or some type of alien in other M2? It kind of rings a bell,
Yes. Yes, you
right?
do. Like, yep. To defeat the Queen Metroid and other M's, you basically have to get inside her. Like she swallows you, and you just
You
have to power
bomb.
bomb. Well, yeah, you have to power bomb while being inside her.
Alright,
So
that's
yeah,
a cool nod back. So,
yeah.
quickly here, I don't have a lot to say about this except this is an annoying and recurring mini boss. The robot Chozo soldier and the twin robot Chozo soldiers that
Oh
appear
God.
several times during the game. This looks like one of the statues in the save rooms, but
Hmm.
down to scale. And they
Yeah.
basically have a lot of Samus's arsenal. They have a shard shot, they have regular
Hmm.
shots, and they have a dash attack, which Samus in this game has the dash counter move.
Yeah.
So they move
It's like.
very similar, except they're machines. And it
Hmm.
was very annoying. The rooms the room setups make it so you have
Hmm.
to constantly be moving around, like clockwise or
Yes.
counterclockwise or whatever. And one of the
Hmm.
things that bothers me, but I know this is Metroid, I hate that just touching them, a pixel touching them, hurts Samus.
Yep. Yep.
And I was happily surprised that one of Samus's older powers, the speed boost, hurts them quite a bit.
Yes. Hmm. Hmm.
What
Like
do you think
like
about the
right
robot
now.
Chozo?
Yeah, like honestly, I hate the crap out of them. I really hate them. They're like one of those few things that I hate about this game. They're so annoying. They really are. And what makes me hate them is that their melee attack. There's one that you can counter, but there's another one that you can't at all. Like there's just no way of countering it. And sometimes deciphering which one is the one that he's gonna use is a little bit hard.
The animations
Like
are very similar.
yeah, the only difference is the color. Like, if it's a counterable one, the color of the blade is blue. But if the one that you can't counter, it's red, and the range of that charge attack is stupid. It's freaking stupid. I hate it.
Pretty unfair
But
because if you notice a second too late that it's the red and you flash shift backwards, not over him,
yeah,
instead backwards, he will miss physically hitting you, but the sparks
yeah.
will damage you.
And if you're playing on hard mode, which is the mode that I was playing it before we started recording, he does so much damage. I freaking hate it.
Yeah, that's one thing about
Ugh.
hard mode. I beat the game, as I said, once normal, once in hard mode. They really don't want you to get hit, and most of the bosses are pretty readable, so it's possible to beat them all
Yeah.
without getting hit, but it is just a tad bit exhausting slash annoying.
Yeah, it is, and especially with those Chozo soldiers, because oh god, they're just annoying. I'm just really glad that that you can hit them with a
Shine
shine
Spark.
spark, and
Yes.
yeah, and it does so much damage to them. It's so satisfying, like hitting them with that, and yeah, like yeah, bam, basically half of their health is gone. So it makes the fight a little bit more tolerable.
Definitely does. So let's go to a boss that I am going to brag, and I'm going to say that I was able to figure it out on my first try, and I was pretty pleased with myself. And this is the
Mm.
underwater flower Drogiga.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah.
was an interesting boss, but for Metroid veterans, this was like I already know what to do. I just have to figure out when to dodge. Tell me about it.
Exactly.
I know recently you've been able to skip this boss.
Oh yeah, yeah. I found a way to skip it. It's basically It kind of reminds me of a spore spawn in Super Metroid, that mini boss that throws the spores and opens its mouth, and you have to hit it when it opens its mouth. It's basically an evolved version of that boss, somewhat. And yeah, I was also able to beat it the first time because, like you said, like for veterans, this is just like, oh, okay, this is what I have to counter. Oh, okay, this is what I have to dodge. Oh, this is what I have to shoot. This is what I have to do to open its mouth and kill it on the inside. It's super easy, honestly. It's still more fun of a boss fight than the first one. I do have to admit that. But yeah, the fact that you can skip it entirely because with a glitch, granted, because you have to do the what they call the pseudo wave beam, which is that you kind of like clip yourself into like into the wall a little bit, and then shoot at it, and like if the wall has one of those red exploding thingies, so you can open a path, it actually hits it. That's actually what I use to like skip the boss entirely. Like if go to another section of the map, shoot that through the wall, and bam, like I don't need to fight the boss at all.
All right. Well, that
Yeah.
boss isn't all that impressive, but it was a funner fight than the
No.
first one, like you said. Now, let's
Yeah.
go to the second recurring enemy. And this enemy, I think it's a bit more than halfway through the game, gets an upgrade. They get new attacks. But I'm talking about the Shoso Soldier. We were surprised, like happily, and at the same time confused that there was a Chozo attacking us when talking about Ravenbeak at the beginning of the game. But now there are other Chozos in the game, and these Chozos fight with a spear. This is also a recurring boss. We see them with different colored armor, which would suggest like a hierarchy, and their patterns are all the same except the ones with the shield. How did you like this fight? I felt great after dominating it, but at the beginning I was like, why do they damage me for so much? It was an impressive fight, and I was still trying to process, I am fighting Chozos. These are like mini Chozos.
Literally, like it's weird all this time. All these Metroid games, you get power ups from Chozo statues, and all of a sudden, hey, you're fighting them now. What? But yeah, I really do like these versions of the Chozo fights better. Like I like them more because they're not as annoying as the robot ones. But yeah, like these ones with the spear, they're a little, even though they're like a little bit easier and more predictable than the robots.
Easier to read. They don't use arm
Yeah,
cannons. They mainly attack via the spear, like physical damage.
exactly,
They have no
exactly.
range attacks at first.
Yeah, they don't. Oh yeah, at first, because then the ones in the end game, like they do get a few ranged attacks.
Yeah, you can say we fight several Chozo soldiers with a spear,
Yeah.
and once you defeat them, that's it. You just have to learn how to dodge well. They have a charging attack, then they'll stick to the wall and do a down thrust attack, and with the flash shift, it's pretty easy to avoid them all. Now,
Yeah,
a bit more than halfway through the game, they get infected by the X parasite, and this means that they will begin their fight as normal, but we see a first change that when they do, they're from the wall down thrust, little waves come out from either side, left and right, that you have to avoid or get damage, and then they become all parasite-y, creepy / alien, where
yes.
their whole head opens up as if it was a mouth, and that's where they get their
Disgustingly.
projectile attack. What do you think about this attack?
Oh, this attack. Oh, this attack actually caught me by surprise the first time. I was like, "What the heck is this?" And I was like super low on health, so it killed me on like the first hit. It was just surprising, but and at first I was like, "How the heck am I supposed to evade this?" Oh, you can just flash shift or jump over it. Oh, it's just like a stream. It goes on a straight line. It's just that it pretty much is an auto target move, so you have to be quick about it, and it's kind of easy to dodge afterwards. But yeah, like it does so much damage when it's on when it gets to like that second phase of the fight. They just do so much damage, especially with that attack. So yeah,
When playing in hard mode, it's basically don't get hit, or I think you lose 3 life tanks immediately. And
immediately. And
not,
and if
not
and if you're
fun to
trying
get
to
hit by
do
it. Yeah.
no, definitely. And if you're trying to do like a 0% of items run, Because I've seen a few of those. Simply just don't get hit. Be a perfect player and do not get hit. Basically, because oh my god.
That is crazy. A 0% item
Yeah.
of runs.
I, I,
Now,
I don't know how people do it, but yeah.
we have a fun boss to talk about soon, but before we talk about this fun boss, I want to talk about the boss before it because you get a very cool power from this boss, and personally for me, this was the most difficult boss in the game. I died so many times. I even turned on the stream so my friends could see me and give me pointers because I could not defeat this on my own. And I'm talking
Yeah.
about SQ. SQ is a flying cockroach. It's a flying electric cockroach, and its attack makes sense because this is the boss that awards you the storm missile.
Yeah.
Tell me about this fight.
This mother flyer. Oh my god, he killed me like 3 times before I was able to kill him on my first run. Because
Three
on
times?
my
Try 25 times.
Fuck.
I just couldn't do it.
No, yeah, no, and I get you because he's just freaking hard. Honestly, like he's just super hard to deal with because he's just so fast. His attacks are all pretty much homing or something. I don't even know, but it's just like it's annoying. Like I hate the flying electric cockroach with all my with all of my freaking burning hating passion. I hate it.
And
I
you're
hate
correct to do it. It has homing attacks. It has a tackle, like a charge it does towards you. And this boss keeps you constantly moving and in the air because it shoots an electric bomb through the floor. And after like 2 seconds, it will ignite all the floor into electricity. So you have to be constantly jumping or wall jumping and using your flash shift all over the place to avoid all the missiles, all the homing missiles, not get hit by the floor that's completely turned into electricity, and also avoid that charge. That is the only moment you have to counter it, but sometimes you are just in the air, you're in a bad position to do the counter, so you just have to either get hit or become a morph ball and dodge, but then you miss the counter.
Yeah. It's too much. Like it's like honestly, it feels like such a high difficulty spike at that point.
Yes.
If it's like your first run and like you're not used to the game or whatnot, or you don't do the sequence break that I do now to kill it super fast. Like it's an annoying boss fight, and I just freaking hate it, honestly.
Yeah, and we find it difficult, but I have to say that it is well designed, and I wish there
Oh, yeah.
was more space for more original bosses instead of repeating the twin robot Chozo Soldier and the Chozo Soldier fights a couple of times in the game.
Yeah, true.
So
True.
we have the storm missile, Salmy. Let's go to fight Experiment Z57. And
Oh boy.
Experiment Z57, we see them in the background during the game. It's like, what are these machines doing? Stop experimenting on this. What are they doing? And at this point in the game, the lava has stopped flowing, and a lot of the map has turned to ice.
Yeah,
we
it's
find
all
out
frozen over.
It's all frozen, and we find out that the cause is this Experiment C57. Tell me about this fight. This fight has several stages, and there's a lot of jumping and a lot of dodging. But the pattern recognition, I think, still leaves a lot of room to breathe. And it hits you harder than the previous boss SQ, but I think it's because it's a longer fight that it could be more difficult.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bit more fair fight. Tell me about this fight.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's easier than SQ. Like, because the thing with SQ is that he's so fast and almost unpredictable that he's gonna hit you. He's gonna hit you one way or another. With this one, he's a little bit slower, and you might get hit a few times, but you're gonna figure out the pattern pretty quick. He does have like 2 stages to the fight.
Tell me about that jumping stage. How do you like that jumping stage? I did not expect that. It felt... I know Metroid Dread is still a 2D game. It's 2.5D technically. But it really felt something different until I got to the second phase of the Experiment 2057's fight, then I really feel like, hey, I'm just playing Fusion or I'm just playing Super Metroid. Like, this is a Metroid-ass Metroid game with platforming difficulty, and then I have to aim and all this. This boss is really, really Metroid boss.
Yeah, it is. It is. And yeah, you basically play Flappy Bird against him, basically.
Yep, that's what people online have been calling it.
It's like, hey Samus, have you ever played Flappy Bird? No. Would you like to? It's just really fun. It's a weird part of the fight, but it's like you said, it's a Metroid game. It's a Metroid boss, so it does feel at home. I do have to admit, landing the instant kill on this boss, extremely freaking satisfying. Like, honestly, like every time that I fight it, I just try to land the instant kill, and it's just so satisfying to get it, honestly.
And you have to get to the second part of the fight to do the instant kill, so you're not skipping the fight. You actually do fight him for a while, and then you do the instant kill.
Exactly. So it's really it's not like Super Metroid, like on Crate, where you can just instantly kill him on the first phase of the fight. Like, no. You actually have to fight him, and then you do it, and it's really fun. Like, it's like shine sparking him into his freaking face. Like, get out of here.
One very cool thing I have to shout out is the in-battle cutscene when you do a counter to Experiment 756, where Samus just grabs onto its head, and then you run around the reactor, and then she power boosts back to the platform to fight, and it makes Samus look very badass.
It does. It's one of the best. It's a simple quick time event thing after the counter, but it's just so satisfying to watch, and because basically she's just like on top of the experiment, just basically shooting at it at close range with her missiles.
And the extra touch that you control the shooting, I really love that about this game.
Yes, it's amazing. It's really it's just like all the counter sequences, minus maybe one of them, because one of them is kind of like just boring to look at, which is the water boss. I forget his name, but yeah, the water tentacle boss.
Yeah, the water flower
counter
thing.
sequence. Yeah, that counter sequence is like the most boring one to look at, because she's just standing there like shooting at it. But like, for example, the experiment, like, yeah, she's just on top of him shooting missiles at close range, but you look at the experiment going crazy, going around the whole reactor, like, get up, stop shooting at me. And it's just really fun to look at. It's super satisfying.
Okay, so we have one more mini boss, and this is Gorsuna, and this is a enemy that you've seen several times up to this point in the game, and you destroy it, and the X-Parasite turns it into a bigger thing, and you destroy that, and then the X-Parasite turns it into an actual mini boss, and it's like, I really have to fight this thing now, and what it is, it's a giant enemy crab. And it is armored, so you can only hit it in the butt. This is a very Monster Hunter-like boss. Like, always go for that ass. And there's not much to say, except you have to expertly dodge or just jump over him and wait for him to show you his ass and hit him again.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that was just oh god. I'm alive. My bad. That just caught me by surprise. But yeah, it's honestly, it's just like you said. It's just a Monster Hunter. I've only played Monster Hunter once in my life, but I do get the reference, because you kind of have to like search for a weak point and hit it on the ass, basically.
Yes.
Oh, and you can also slide under it. When he lifts his like claws up, you can slide under it to get around him. And you can also shine spark him, which is actually kind of funny.
I did not know that you could shine spark him just from the front, or you have to go for the back too.
No, you have to go for the back as well, and you can only shine spark him once, because you have to like ready the shine spark as the Edge Parasite is mutating it. But yeah, like you can actually shine spark it, and it takes away like half of its health. So yeah.
Oh well, that's pretty cool.
Oh.
And
yeah.
We still have a few things to go. Let's we're gonna leave the final boss for the end of the video, in case you were still watching and have not finished the game and have ignored our spoiler warning. But let's move on to the next part of the game, okay? So now we're gonna talk about the EMMIs, the central unit, and the Omega Cannon. There are
Oh, boy.
7 EMMIs in this game, and by EMMIs are robots that were designed to extract DNA. They were sent in to deal with the X-Parasite. However, they failed. Now, the first one that you find in the game has been damaged, and the poor thing can't even climb. That Emmy has lost one of its claws and has its mobility pretty much nerfed, so it serves as a tutorial for the rest of the Emmys. But I think it only really helps for one Emmy because they all vary pretty much. And I've written down names for all of them, and these are my names, not Nintendo's. So
this is gonna be interesting.
after the damaged Emmy, we fight the White Power Emmy, which is a white Emmy that when you hide, it kind of gives up following you, and that's the weakest of the Emmys, not counting the damaged one. After that, we fight the Green Ranger Emmy, which pretty much looks like a Power Ranger robot, and there's not much to say about that one. Then we go to an Emmy that I don't know what they were thinking, but we're going to Supersonic Yellow Emmy, which is super fast.
Yeah, the most annoying Emmy for me, honestly.
Definitely one of the most scary Emmys. This Emmy made my heart race a lot. After the Yellow Emmy, we fight Vanilla Ice Ice Baby Blue Emmy. And this is the Emmy that is capable of freezing you. They even have a cutscene showing you it can freeze stuff, but somehow that didn't register immediately. And just if you're in its cone of vision, you're frozen. And Samus goes like, no, slow motion Samus, it's cold.
Basically, yeah.
Really great detail on that freezing animation. After that, we're going to a fighting game character, Stunlock Purple Emmy, which likes to stun you in place. You release from the stun just to be stunned again in 0.1 second.
Yeah, basically.
And finally, we have the Alu Akbar Orange Emmy, which kind of messes up Samus, and you don't get to properly fight this one. But all of these Emmys are unique in some way, and most of them give you powers. So, let's talk about them. Anyone you want to highlight, or any encounter?
I think, honestly, first of all, the names, spot on. Like, perfect freaking names for each and every one of these Emmys. Goddamn, you nailed it. But honestly, you're pretty much, you pretty much summarized it pretty well. Like, they all have their own thing. They all have their own power ups, aside from being the SAS from Fusion, but on steroids. Because let's be honest, like if you've played Fusion, you know that there are some sections where the SAS is after you and whatnot, and you just have you have no other options except for running away from it, because it's gonna kill you. Because the SAS is like, it's you, but with every single power up on your arsenal, and you have no choice but to run. But yeah, basically the Emmys are that. They're just SAS on steroids, and they were. I'm gonna be honest. This is one of the things that make me lower the score in this game a little bit. They were a bit hit or miss, a few of them. Because they were, it was cool. Like, they have powers and whatnot, but the fact that they are so freaking random, and that they are one hit kills, basically, with random counterable moves. Like, it was annoying. It was annoying.
The counter mechanic for the Emmys is just there so you can feel good about yourself 1 out of 100 times. But the Emmys are the reason I saw so many game over screens in this game. I even wrote to my friends, I'm dying more in Dread than I did in Sekiro, more than I did in Dark Souls. What is going on? Am I doing this wrong? And then they told me, no, you're not supposed to counter that. That's only there for some time. Like, okay, I get it.
Yep, because that's the thing, that the counter window is completely random. Like, for as much as you would like to think that you have the timing down, nope, you do not. You do not, because the the times that you are able to counter the enemy, it's just completely random. You can easily get like completely destroyed in just 1 second of the enemy touching you. No warning whatsoever.
To explain, the reason that he says that they're random is because the enemies have several attacks. They can hit you with the arm, they can hit you with their face, they can hit you with the leg. They have different types of attacks, but the second one is even worse because the second one is when the stabby thing is going for Samus's head or Samus's neck, depending on which one you get. And those are also have different timing per animation. There are many different combinations that makes it feel too random to consistently parry an enemy.
Exactly.
There is a way to destroy an enemy, but first you have to get some power. And that power, we get it from the central unit. The central unit is basically the Mother Brain fight from the original Metroid. And Mother Brain, you were once a final boss, now you've just been reduced to a little mini boss that we can easily do. And there's not much to say. You are dodging projectiles while hitting brain-like CPU thing. Once it loses its armor, then you have to hit it directly, and that's pretty much it. Samus gets what we come to know as the Omega Cannon.
Yep.
You talked about the yellow Emmy, Supersonic Emmy.
Oh god.
That was very annoying to use the Omega Cannon on that one, but I want to say one that I found personally satisfying to do was against the Vanilla Ice Baby Blue Emmy.
Yes.
It was very, very fun to take like an elevator lift, like a horizontal lift, and it came crawling towards me while you prepared that Omega Cannon. That one I really liked. What about you?
I really do like that. Exactly. You take the lift and you have to shoot it while it's like crawling towards you on the ceiling. Like basically, this enemy is like the Grudge or something, or the Ring. Basically, that's crawling through the ceiling trying to get you, and you just have to like be really good at aiming at its face and to try to destroy the face plating and whatnot. But yeah, that one is like the most satisfying to kill. But the one that is just the most annoying one is just the yellow enemy, because the thing is that it's so freaking fast, and if you're like not shooting at it at the right angle, if you miss a few shots, it's gonna start crawling back towards you, but it's still like at super speed. So it's just like it's so freaking annoying. I hate the yellow enemy. I hate it.
You have to keep going in circles to get enough distance because the first Emmy, you just shoot it. After that first damage Emmy, each of the Emmys has a mask that you have to shoot first the mask with little projectiles, like machine gun projectiles. Yeah. And after you destroy that mask, you have to charge up and destroy its exposed head. So the yellow Emmy made that specifically difficult.
And the thing is that the more Emmys that you... The further you get on in the game, and the more enemies that you kill, like the face plating, it gets smaller and smaller, so it's even harder to hit the enemies consistently.
Yeah. I hadn't noticed that. I knew that the masks were different for each of them, but I hadn't noticed that they got particularly small.
Yeah, they do. Like honestly, like I already have the first two or three Emmys like down. Like there's even a section with that I just found out the other day that I can actually like I don't even have to aim. I just have to like press the L button to like aim at the face of the yellow Emmy. And yeah, I don't even have to aim. Like I actually found it the other day and I was like, oh, okay, this is perfect. I don't need to, worry about trying to get this freaking thing and actually aim it at the right spot and whatnot. Like I can just like do it on a straight line, and okay, this is so much easier. But yeah, like the face plating, it gets like smaller with each enemy that you kill, and it's even harder to aim at them the more that you go on in the game.
Right. And like you, I was not enjoying the Emmys, even though I figured it out later on in the game. The Emmys really like numbed or like brought down my score of what I think I would have given the game. And after I felt like I dominated all the Emmys and all the controls and all the powers, I could honestly say, yeah, this is a good game. This feels better than Fusion. And I think that the difficulty spikes are a bit too much. And I know that the Emmys aren't going to be for everyone, but I like this game. It's not going to be my favorite Metroid. I don't think it still is my favorite Metroid, but it is among my top. But what made it rise up, I think this is now my third favorite Metroid, is that
Yeah.
last Alu Akbar orange Emmy.
Oh, yeah.
Because the colored Emmys have powers for Samus.
Mhm.
And this
Yeah.
one, being orange, it's basically the power bomb one. So I was wondering, how am I gonna fight this one? The purple one shot electricity at me. The blue one froze me. What is the orange one gonna do? And the other one basically just makes the room explode and hurts Samus. But by this point, this is part of the story spoilers. Samus has been awakening her Metroid powers, triggered by the encounter with Ravenbeak at the beginning of the game. And so, the fact that it was handled in a cutscene, and not just any cutscene, but a very badass cutscene, where Samus absorbed the power from the orange Emmy and took back her powers, like the power bomb that she lost. That moment was so well done that even though it's not a gameplay moment, it made me like Dread more and pushed it up in my list of favorite Metroids. So I can't believe they did this, but they made me actually like an Emmy encounter. And the one that I like, and when I watch people stream or when friends play the game, I can't wait for them to get to the orange Emmy to tell me what they felt and how, and if it caught them off guard and all of that.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like it really caught me off guard that you don't have to fight it. Like it's so satisfying when you get there and you don't actually have to go through the whole Emmy sequence, like running away and whatnot. I was like so relieved. Like I was like, oh thank God I don't have to do this again. Because by the time that you beat the purple Emmy, like the Emmy encounters do get a little bit. They it's not. I don't want to say that they get boring, but you just feel like it's already so repetitive. Like
They're
run
more
away, run away,
annoying than challenging by that point.
yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. That like at least for a first time playthrough, I was kind of like I've had it. Like by the time that I killed the purple Emmy, I had already had it. Like I was like I'm done. I'm done with these Emmys. Like I can't handle another one. And then you reach the orange one, and it's just like, oh, here we go again. And then like the whole cutscene happens, and like Samus just absorbs it. And I'm like, oh, thank God, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Each of the Emmy encounters teaches you something about traversal, about hiding, and about movement in those Emmy zones. And by the time you reach the orange one, there's not really much left to learn. So it's great that it's handled via a cutscene. It's usually something that I want to fight everything. I want to do everything through gameplay. But in this case, they earned it. They earned defeating this boss or this mini boss in a cutscene, and I think it caught me by surprise. I would have never guessed in a million years that Samus was gonna do something that great through cutscene and not through gameplay.
Definitely. Like it was amazing.
This game, coming from Mercury Steam and not directly from Nintendo, I can say that I really enjoyed the sound design that Mercury Steam was able to do on the game, but the soundtrack is a little bit disappointing. There are good moments of music when Samus' theme plays, or when the Emmy has seen you and is chasing you. It is nightmare-inducing, but it is well done in terms of music. But overall, a lot of the areas in the map, a lot of the areas on the planet, didn't feel like they had either atmospheric music or strong enough music to convey the area that you were in. What do you think about the music in Dread?
I'm with you on that one, honestly. Like, granted, Metroid is not a game that's usually known for having amazing soundtracks, because most of the games just have like ambient music or whatnot. But this one is probably one of the weakest music-wise, because just like you said, like some areas the music is just meh. It's just there, like, and you don't have anything catchy or anything that makes you feel like, oh, okay, this is actually good for this area. Like, nah, it's not that well. There are some tunes that but they're mostly like remixes from old games. Like, for example, when you get to the middle of the game and you meet up with Quiet Robe, which is the other Choso that appears in this game, the other Choso in the feathers that appears in this game. Well, when you meet him, you get like a remix of the lower Brinstar theme from Super Metroid, which, by the way, Mercury's team is in love with that tune, because they put it in Samus Returns as well. But I don't blame them, because it's actually a good piece of music. well, that part of the game, I was like, oh, this is here. This is good. But yeah, it's like the good music is few and far between.
Yeah,
And yeah, but
another
I.
moment of good
Uh,
music that you reminded me was when you start the game. You get a retelling, a summary of the other four games, the previous four games. And it's like, oh, when the music is hitting
yeah.
there, I think that's pretty well done. But like you said, that's
Hmm.
using older music.
Exactly. That's just the regular Samus theme from Super Metroid. And hey, that basically is the anthem of Metroid, basically, by this point. But yeah, it's basically that. It's just a remix from older music, and it kind of leaves you it leaves you kind of wanting something. You can't. It makes you wish that one of the new tracks was that good, you know. And it sadly doesn't hit the spot as well as the older music does. But yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna touch on the characters, all except Ravenbeak. We're leaving Ravenbeak to the end. And
yeah.
before we talk about the characters and the dialogue in this game, I wanted to mention the locations in the game. There are several locations in this game, and I made up a name for all of them too.
Oh, amazing.
So we start the game in Artaria, which is the intro area, and I wrote down sequence break begins here.
Basically.
After that, we reach Kataris, which is Kataris
I'm
is
sorry.
the hot area, and I wrote
Hmm.
down redirecting the flow.
Yeah, you're spot on. No, no, yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, redirecting the flow because you're like switching the magma to move through places so you can like actually go to Dairon. So yeah,
What an
it's
inefficient way to open a door. Hey, I want to go to this part of the planet. Yeah, let me move lava around to open the door to unlock it. It's like, what? Who designed this planet?
Choso architecture, my guy. I just don't know what else to say.
Okay. After that, Dairon, which we saw in the demos, not the demo,
Hmm.
which we saw in the demo that they played in E3 and in the trailers. Dairon is
Yep,
basically just big laboratory land,
basically, yeah. Big laboratory, Eggman land.
Eggman land,
Cause yeah, cause since
sterile
they're
environment. Yep.
yeah. Oh boy,
After
and
this, this
that's
next
actually
area,
that's
we go in and out
uh,
a lot. Have you
yeah.
heard of Burenia, the water temple?
So spot on, maldita sea. Oh god, so true. Like oh god, like especially because you get there before you get the gravity suit and traversal through that area. Oh boy, it's
And then you come back
so
a
slow.
second time and you still don't have the
Mhm.
gravity suits.
Exactly, because you have to get it basically while you're underwater. Like there's a section of it that you have to go through while being underwater, and that's where you get the gravity suit, and you go like, finally, there you were. God damn.
Yeah, I
But
have to
yeah.
give a big shout out to the Shine Spark puzzle where you can get the
Yeah.
gravity suit early in this game. It is
Yes.
something that I will never do, but I coached a friend on Twitch to do it, and I've seen people on YouTube do it, and to me, it's amazing, and it would be
Mhm.
very satisfying to do, but that's not for me. It looks very fun, and they gave a challenge for those people that really enjoy doing the Shine Spark challenges.
Mhm. Oh yeah, definitely. Like all the Chang Spark puzzles, I know that a lot of people hate them. We have a lot of friends in common that hate the Shine Spark puzzles.
Yep.
I am so sorry, Hendrik. Hendrik has PTSD because of the Shine Spark puzzles. Poor guy, man.
I just
But
made
yeah,
peace that I'll never see 100% on that select screen. That's it. I just made my peace with it.
yeah, because there are some, and there's like one in specific that I think is the hardest of all the Shine Spark puzzles. Because even I like screw up a few times on that one because it's just so hard to get it. There's like two ways to get that Shine Spark puzzle done, and either or is just like kind of hard to get it. So yeah, like I do have to admit, like I even though I love them, it's not for everyone. Shine Spark puzzles are not for everyone.
Alright, next up we have Gavaran, which is a forest, but underground. So it's a forest where trees grow, but underground.
underground with no sun.
It
How
is
do they get sun?
an underground forest. Don't explain it. And a good little touch when you first reach Galvaran, there are these little weird spider cows around the elevator, and like
Mhm.
they see Samus and they'll run around. There's a lot of background animal and movement, a lot of fauna
Mhm.
and flora, and I think they paid the most attention to this area, which disappoints me because it doesn't have like a great soundtrack or like a great music for this great level that they
Yeah,
made.
yeah, it really does not. It does not go well with the area itself.
Yeah.
Like we said about the music, that kind of the music doesn't hit as hard as other games, but yeah.
Yeah, and this is a point in the game where you see a couple of new different enemy types, and it made sense that they would be in the underground forest. So that was good on them to put them in Gavaran. After that, we
Mm-hmm.
go to Ferenia, and I wrote Chozo Church. It's
So so.
like a temple. Ferenia. I don't really get the design, but it looks sort of churchy like,
It
and
does.
it is the cleanest area of the game. It looks like, oh wow, like people could live here or something. Like it looks like a palace.
It's exactly it does. Like even like as if you go through Ferenia, like the way that it's supposed to, which is going through Gamoran, you do get this whole like scenery where the camera kind of changes angle a little bit, and you can see like the buildings and whatnot. And it, yeah, basically Chozo Church. You're right. And yeah, it kind of looks like a place where like yeah you could probably live here, but everything is like all messed up with monsters and evil choso bastards.
Yep. Then we're going to Elon, to Elon Boskland, where we see the X parasites for the first time.
Yep,
Not
basically
really
where the game
much to
gets.
say. It looks like it was supposed
Yeah,
to be a prison.
yeah, right. It does look like it could have been a prison, but yeah, it's like the smallest area of all of the whole game.
Yep.
And yeah, pretty much not much to say except that yeah, it's just there. You get the plasma beam there, and you move on.
So let's move on to Hanubia, which is the surface, and it is just a generic Star Trek planet.
Generic Star Trek planet. So true. So
Yeah,
true.
it's all sci-fi, all lights, all sky bridges, and it's like okay, and that's pretty much it. Nothing great here in Hanubia, except we see Samus's ship floating in the background, and it's just out there chilling. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, basically. And the other thing is like it's kind of like the second shortest area, next to Elon Muskland. But yeah, like it's just there to like set you up for like the next area.
The
Basically,
next
it's
area,
just
yeah.
like oh yeah, yeah, it's all raining. It's all like it's all in this for the sake of theming. Like okay, yeah, the next area like this is like the last bit of the game. Are you ready for this? Like
Yeah.
okay,
In,
here's the end of the game.
in Hanubia, we fight the final Chozo warrior, and we see there is a shine spark here, and I did it because it was tempting me. They put it in your face. It's like there's no
Mhm.
way I'm not gonna leave this place without doing this shine spark, and I had to do it because they just taunted me with it. Like you've been ignoring him the whole game. Are you gonna ignore it now? We're near the end, so I did it.
Yeah, it's satisfying to get that shine spark, honestly. And the Chozo, the last Chozo that you fight, basically the he's like gold member because he's all golden and all that, and it's just like I hate his shield. That's the only thing that I hate about him. The rest is just like generic
I
Chozo
didn't
spear
know
Chozo fight. But yeah.
during my first run. This is a pro tip if you haven't reached here and you're listening to this. Which why are you
Mhm.
getting spoiled? But when you counter the shield, a little blue light lights up, and I didn't really
Yep.
know what that was for on my first run. On my second run, I accidentally, because you're touching all of the buttons, I accidentally used a
Hmm.
grapple beam, and you can pull the shield from him.
Yep. Yeah,
Yep,
you can.
I didn't
It's
do it in
it's
my first
super.
run.
Yeah, super satisfying. Like I figured it out like the second time that it happened because it's just like a little blue dot,
Yep.
It's like a little blue lighting dot, and it's just like, oh hey, I'm supposed to grapple that. You can also destroy the shield with a storm missile, but yeah, like ripping the shield out with the
Grapple.
grapple beam is much more satisfying.
All right, and the final area of the game, it's not technically part of the planet, but it is Itorash, and it is the Stepdaddy spaceship.
Where that you go into it with a Saiyan space pod.
Right? That elevator
Yeah,
looks like a Saiyan space pod.
yeah. Like when I saw Samus going to Itorash, like I just saw her get into like that space pod. I'm like, are we gonna invade Earth? Is this like a Saiyan spaceship? What? What's going on here?
Clearly Dragon Ball
But
inspired.
it definitely was.
So we're getting closer and closer to the end, to the final boss. But before that, let's talk about the characters in this game. And by characters, I mean the ones that actually speak. We have Samus Aran. We have the AI Adam, which spawned a lot of memes.
Yeah.
And we have Quiet Robe, aka Bird Friend. Tell me about the
Bird friend.
NPCs. Samus doesn't have a lot of lines in this game. She talks to
Hmm.
Bird Friend once. Then she has a really cool scream at the
Yeah.
end, which is very satisfying. But the character that most speaks is either Adam or Ravenbeak. What did you think about these interactions? Every time you reach one of those rooms where Samus Chozo technology is weird. You have to jam your cannon to turn on the computer.
Basically, yeah. Like I just honestly, whenever that section happens, that you have to like put your cannon inside the thing, I'm just like, okay, she's just powering up the computer with her suit, I guess, and that's like the best way to do it because every Chozo, like, well, not every Chozo, but like most Chozo armors are supposed to have arm cannons or
No,
something. I
that's
don't
the
know.
thing. That's the thing. I thought, oh, all Chozos have arm cannons, but then
Yeah,
you fight so
but they
many of
don't.
them that don't. That they're just spear guys.
Yeah, like how do they power up the computer? They just jam the spear in there or something? Like I'm confused.
I guess.
So,
So, tell me about the Adam interactions. Adam starts out in this game calling Samus lady, complaining about the bounty that there is to
yeah.
destroy or to eliminate the X parasite. And Adam
Hmm.
tells you about the EMMIs and says that the Federation lost contact with them. That's.
That's sad. And to treat their lost assets with care, lady.
Which
And that part,
Samus does not treat them with
yeah.
care. Spoiler
No,
alert.
she does not. No, she doesn't treat the planet with care. Let's go there. But yeah. Honestly, the first interaction with Adam was just, it was kind of like what I expected. He's just like, hey, the reward is not that big of a deal. You probably should have taken this job, like honestly. But let's be honest, if it's parasites, Samus is the only one qualified for that job. So yeah. But then after that, I don't know, like all the rest of the interactions with Adam. Is it okay if I spoil it? Like
You
right now?
100% can.
Okay. Like I know we gave spoiler alert, but like I still gotta ask because I want to make sure. But the rest of the interactions with Adam, I freaking hated him. I was like, this guy, like, because he's so negative. Like, oh yeah, like you've gotten a few power ups back, but yeah, you're still no match for Ravenbeak. Like, have you seen Ravenbeak without his armor? He's like super jacked. He has like an 8-pack, my guy. Like, there's no way that you can beat him. Okay, he's shredded. Okay, he's gonna shred you like cheese, girl. Like, go away.
It
Like,
goes beyond being cold because you expect Adam to be cold and calculating, but it is very negative, very dour. It's like, Samus, I don't know what you're gonna do. Ravenbeak's been hitting the
he's
gym.
like he's just ruthless. He's just completely ruthless. And midway through the game, I sort of had like a suspicion, like I was suspicious about Adam because one, he never calls you lady again, and that's kind of like a prevalent thing in Fusion. When he speaks to you, he calls you lady, and that's a thing. That's an Adam thing, and he kind of never calls you lady again. He just keeps calling you Samus. I'm like, No, why are you calling me Samus? I'm Lady, okay? But yeah, and midway through the game, the way that he was talking, that it was all negative and stuff, it kind of made me suspicious of him, and like I was just like, yeah, this is not Adam. Spoiler alert. It was never Adam. Like the only time that you actually talked to Adam was like at the beginning of the game when you're arriving at the planet. The rest of the interactions, surprise, surprise, it was stepfather Birdie all along.
Yeah.
Stepfather, stepdaddy,
Stepdaddy,
stepdaddy.
Ravenbeak has been guiding Samus throughout the planet to make her stronger and
Mm-hmm.
to make her unlock her secret, super deadly, sucky powers.
Lucky. Her vampire power, her space floating jelly with teeth vampire powers.
Yup.
Oh my god! But yeah, it was Ravenbeak the whole time, and I hated every time that I had to talk with him. It was like, shut up, man! Like, why you gotta be so negative? And it was because he was just lifting his ego, I guess. Like, oh yeah, you got that power up, but you're no match for me. Just saying,
Even
bro.
at
Like, don't
full
even try.
strength, I doubt you will be able to take on Ravenbeak. Look at his muscles.
Look at his muscles. Spoiler alert: she doesn't just kick his butt. She basically rips off one of his wings, and he just rips up the other one, and she stabs him in the eye. But okay, sure. Let me. She just keep saying that I'm no match for you, my guy. Sure, whatever.
I love that because they don't. They only show it once when she
Hmm.
grabs him. They don't show it again because PG-13. If not, the game would be M for mature. After that, they only
Exactly.
show Ravenbeak from one side. Samus definitely destroyed that eye.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
That it kind of regenerates at the end because its parasite's gonna its parasite.
yeah,
But and you actually are able to see it. But before the its parasite enters Ravenbeak, yeah, that eye is destroyed, my guy.
okay, so let's go to the final battle against Ravenbeak, where the reveals come. Ravenbeak is one of the people who raised you and one of the people who modified Samus's DNA. Birdfriend had told you earlier that they had a plan to use the Metroids. They wanted to hunt the Metroids. They wanted to bring peace to the galaxy their way, the Thanos way, I guess.
The Thanos way.
And it's sad because the Chozo had two different like tribes within their race, and they
Yeah.
wiped out the other one. So they only
Hmm.
kept the ones that were supposed to. The ones that were supposed to fight, like the warrior ones, I don't know.
Yeah.
The other ones that were capable of controlling the Metroids, which I guess these are the nicer Chozo that raised Samus more directly. Because we see
Yes.
images of Samus in a lab with a lot of Chozos, and they're like the ones that are more similar to Birdfriend are like nearer to her, and in the background, Ravenbeak is like making his big evil plan.
Exactly.
So all is revealed. Ravenbeak wants to take control of the galaxy, he wants to bring peace about his way, and we begin a fight against a character that has all of our powers, including, and very surprisingly, he's able to shine spark in place. How?
How the fuck? Oh yeah, like definitely. Like he basically has all your power ups on steroids again. And yeah, when he shine sparks you, because that's like the third phase of the fight. When he shine sparks you in place, I'm like, my guy, why can you do this? How? Like, is it possible to learn this power?
Ravenbeak also has a very cool anime punch where if you fail the counter, he will punch in slow motion Samus's like her stomach, her midsection, and
Hmm.
the game sort of pauses there and it's like, look what you've done. Look, this is all your
Hmm.
fault. And then Samus slams against the wall, and this is one of
Yeah.
the better animated things in the game. And his attacks are all similar to Samus. He uses a charge beam, but his beam is like a Kamehameha.
Yeah, basically.
He uses the storm missiles, but they're not 5, they're more like 500.
Yeah.
And he also
Like
has the punches, the dash attacks.
yeah, the dash attacks. There's like other attacks that he does too, like one where he puts the cannon upward and he creates like a whole field of red stuff that hurts you as well.
Yep.
Like Yeah, that plus the black holes that he throws at you and the sun. The
Yeah,
sun!
he creates a black hole and a sun, and he's
Just.
much better at melee attacks than Samus. He has a 3-hit combo. Then it's like, wow, look at this guy. He looks like he's getting ready for Smash.
But basically, yeah. Well, Ravenbeak for Smash, just saying. Oh my god. But yeah, like he basically is a powerhouse. Like he definitely is. I won't lie, I died a few times against him, but once
Same.
you get his pattern down, like yeah, it's basically a trial and error kind of thing. Like once you get his pattern down, you can beat him a little bit easier.
Yes, and
But
all of
yeah,
his
like
attacks
he
are avoidable, which is something I really
Oh yeah.
like. That makes it feel very fair. You have to be very careful, but they're all avoidable. And this is one of those times where we have scripted like cutscenes when you nail a counter attack, and they are among
Yes.
the best in the game. Where Samus is dodging for her life. In one, Ravenbeak lifts his leg up and does like a down kick, very similar to
Yeah.
a lot of fighting games we've played, and Samus just
Yeah.
dodged that at the last second. They really
Like,
went all out in this fight.
this fight is easily one of, if not the best fight in the whole game. And it's because not just like the gameplay segments, like where you're actually like moving around and fighting him, like also the quick time events and whatnot. They all look so freaking amazing. And like you said, like Samus is dodging for her life, and while she's dodging, you can attack and bombard him with missiles basically, and it all looks so satisfying and so cool. Like it's definitely like like something like, yep, they went all out on this fight. They
Yes.
they really did.
And I could even tell that they did all they could, because a lot of end game boss fights go for stage 1 and stage 2. They decided to go for a stage 3, and I would really appreciated how subtle
Yes.
changes and new attacks Ravenbeak got in the third stage after proving that he's badass and he does not need his wing. That must have hurt, but
Oh, yeah.
he rips out his wing.
He does, like, oh god, it's like I even saw like a short video on YouTube, like, oh yeah, he turns into the one-winged angel. he becomes Sephiroth, and
For
then
a
he
second,
goes like, nah,
basically.
I don't need to. Yeah, and then he goes like, nah, I don't need to be Sephiroth to beat you.
So
Oh,
let's
man.
talk about the end of the game. We're nearly there. After this
Yeah.
fight, it seems Ravenbeak won. Ravenbeak is choking Samus. If Samus touches him, Samus cannot use her powers because of the suit. The suit protects him from the power. So Samus starts slamming him with slamming his arm
Oh,
with her
boy.
arm cannon. She starts flailing about trying to reach him, and she notices that he has a little opening where you hurt him in the eye. And Samus's visor turns off and seemingly looks like you lost. And I was like, they're not gonna end the game here, right? You're gonna start the
No.
next Metroid game without Samus? But no, as you said, Samus lets out the most epic scream, and she jabs her fingers into his eye, making physical contact, meaning she can actually start absorbing his power and the whole ship's power through her awakened Metroid DNA.
Yep, and oh boy, what a cutscene that is! Like she just while she's screaming, like she's basically stabbed this guy in the eye, and she puts him to the ground. Like, bro, I'm freaking beating you. I'm not dying here. And like in the middle of that process, while she's like sucking away his powers, like she's, like you said, she's draining the ship that you're on as well, and it comes crashing down back to Hanubia. And oh boy, that scene is just so amazing, honestly.
The ship has crashed. Samus has absorbed the whole ship and her dad's power, and we get to see a new suit here. And Samus is all powered up just in time because, as we said earlier, the X-Parasite takes over Ravenbeak, and we see a Ravenbeak Kraid mix match thing.
Yeah, like super creepy and disgusting. Even more disgusting than regular Kraid.
Yeah, and I didn't know this because it didn't happen to me, but I saw a friend stream it. He just stood there, and there's another game over screen. It's like, really? You can get game over by Kraid Ravenbeak hybrid. So you have to actually shoot your father-son Kamehameha Samus does the whole thing Gohan did when Gohan destroyed Cell, because
Yes.
Cell could regenerate. She destroyed the body, and then she kept going and disintegrated the X parasite. She didn't even absorb it. Like, absorb my dad? Ew, no.
Ew, no. I am so glad that you actually pointed it out, because I thought I was the only one that caught on that. Because when she shoots the X parasite, it's basically that. It's basically a Dragon Ball Z moment.
Erasing Cell, yeah.
Cell moment.
So Cell cannot regenerate.
Exactly. Like, I am so glad that you got that, because like I was like, this is so Dragon Ball Z.
I definitely got that. Yeah. And if you've been watching our videos here at Staring at Map Screens, Jercyan said, I hope this next game does not have an escape sequence. But after destroying Ravenbeak Crade, we get an escape sequence.
An escape sequence.
The only saving grace that I have for this one is that you're using the powerful beam and the new suit, and it's only for this one scene, but it feels really cool to run around with the green Metroid Samus suit. Is it okay to call her Metroid now?
Yeah, like, honestly, since Fusion, like, you can basically call her Metroid, because she has Metroid DNA on her, so... And she's technically the last Metroid alive at this point. So yeah, you can actually say that the name of the game is actually the character that you're playing. So hey, finally. But yeah, the suit that you get at the end, it's like, if you go to the status screen on the pause menu, it actually does say that it's the Metroid suit. So yeah, so it's legit.
That's pretty cool. And that Metroid suit, you have to run all around Hanubia, get to your ship. You have to kill enemies. Like, the enemies, they're basically animals, so they don't know that the planet's about to blow up. They're attacking you, they're in your way. You can power bomb, or you can just Kamehameha all of them out of the way.
Basically.
Really satisfying. I was able to do it on my first try, and it's funny that they don't use arrows to point you where to go, but at the beginning of the chase, you have to actually space jump up.
Go up, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you do. Like, that part kind of caught me by surprise. I was like, where do I have to go?
I ran to the left, I ran to the right, and then I said it has to be up, and I found it up. But thank God I figured it out, and it gave me enough time. Then at the end, we see something very, very cool. This is part of the ending cutscene. Your friend Quiet Rogue, which was murdered by a robot, Chozo, whatever. Bird friend. He was then taken over by an X parasite, but apparently he was able to overcome the X parasite, and he helped Samus not take all the power out of the ship. And very quickly, you noticed that Adam was very quick. Adam told Samus to stop and not absorb the ship. So just upon looking at her, Adam could tell that she had become a Metroid. It's like, wow, he got all this information that fast, huh?
Exactly. I'm guessing that he was probably watching somehow, like one way or another. But
he said he couldn't communicate with.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, Metroid logic. Metroid makes no sense.
He's an AI. He quickly calculated in its mind, and Samus reverts back to her various suit and is able to escape the planet. And we're done with Metroid Dread. This was our retrospective. Sammy, there's one final thing.
Yes.
Let's talk about scores.
Scores?
Let's score this game out of 10. What do you give Metroid Dread?
Honestly, I have 2 scores for this game. I have to be honest. I have like my personal score and my more objective score of it. If I were to be like objective of this game, like, you know, like not just thinking about it of my enjoyment, but of other people, how they might actually like or dislike this game, I would give it an 8 because the game is amazing. I do have to admit, like, the game is really, really, really good. Visually wise, it's amazing, and it's the gameplay wise, like, this is the best way to control Samus that we've ever had. Like, she is so fluid and so fast, and everything just like, even though that you end up using all the buttons in the controller by the end of the game, like Yeah, like she's so fast and so it's amazing. Like the way that they handled Samus in this game, they actually they made her justice. You know, like they really did good. And Mercury seemed like knocked the ball out of the park with this one. They really did. Like Samus Returns was amazing, but this game was just even more so. But there are a few things that I do admit that are a little bit annoying, like the Emmys being so super random, and
Constant game over screens.
yeah, and honestly, that's one thing that might turn a few people like away from the game because you die so much, at least on your first run. Like
Yeah.
you die so many times that it kind of gets frustrating by the time that you're like a little bit further ahead in the game and you just don't know how to stop dying because like everything just kills you in one freaking hit.
Yeah, with all the
But yeah,
marketing, I expect this game has been selling great, but I know that
hmm
so many of those people are not gonna be able to finish it. You and I don't count
yeah,
because we're familiar with the series, but so many people are
exactly.
just gonna put this game down out of frustration with the Emmys or frustration with the bosses, and that's a good and a bad thing for how
Yeah.
approachable it is. And
hmm
you still haven't told me your score, Simon.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Just one more thing before I get to my score. Wait, was it what was it? I forgot. Whatever. Like I completely forgot. But yeah, like oh, and yeah, this is what I wanted to say. Like honestly, if this is also your first Metroid game, it kind of it's also another reason why I gave it an 8 out of 10 because like so many deaths and not actually knowing what's going on because yeah the game does do a very good job at like setting you up like okay this is where you are, this is where the story is, but there are a few things that you're not gonna get unless you've played the other Metroid games. So yeah, like if this is your first Metroid game, you kind of started at the wrong place. But okay, like welcome to the Metroid fandom, I guess. For my personal score of this game, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
And honestly, I do admit, I do have to admit that this has become my second favorite game of all time. The
Okay.
first being
Wow.
obviously super. Yes, like I'm not even kidding about that. I've had so much fun with this game, like to the point where it's my second favorite Metroid game next to Super Metroid. Because it's amazing. Like I love going through it so many times. Like I said earlier, like I lost count of how many times I've already finished it, and I've just kept on playing it, and doing more speed runs, doing more 100% speed runs. I'm not gonna get to the top of the list with my speed runs because I do not have the dexterity that other speedrunners have, but it's still like really amazing, and I love this game to bits. And like I just can't like they really did a good job. I was worried that this game was gonna like not do as good after so much marketing, but it really surprised me how awesome this game turned out to be. And I just can't help but say like hey yeah, this turned out to be my second favorite game of all time. That's the Super Metroid. And I'm gonna end up playing it over and over for the years to come. I have to admit it. Like it's just that good. Like I can't.
Yeah, and there's no denying that it is good. I was personally really, really low on this game. I was overly frustrated and I didn't think the difficulty was justified. But
hmm
this game, near the end, it gets so much better. Once you have all the arsenal, the complete arsenal minus the power bombs, everything started to click in place, and that orange Emmy moment and the final boss fight,
Yeah.
it made it all come together. And I usually don't do hard mode runs, but this was a special case where I got a new console, I got a Switch OLED, so I decided to try the hard mode run in handheld mode just to look at the game through new eyes instead of through a TV screen. I looked at it through a OLED screen, and
hmm
it helped going through the game a second time with all the knowledge that I did. During my second
hmm
time, I did the grapple beam and morph ball sequence break, which were very
Yes.
very difficult, but very satisfying. And I did 2 shine sparks. I think I never did a shine spark on my first run, but in the hard mode I did 2 of them. And I this gave me a more appreciation of the game. I was ready to give it a 5.5 or a 6, but after reflecting on it, and yeah, this game was very frustrating, and also the soundtrack let me down because a lot of the elements were there visually, but then you missed out on the music, and that's, to me, it's very important for a game. I ended up, I did those final moments, the orange EMMI, the hard mode, and the different ways that they expected people to replay this and sequence break, and the things that they made left possible, Mercury Steam and Nintendo left possible, raised this up to around a 7.5 for me, and I don't have like a personal score or a regular score, so 7.5 out of 10 is not very far from your 8 out of 10 score, and this game is not friendly for everyone. It requires prior knowledge in order to not get that lost and then make a YouTube or Twitter video crying about how lost you got and how bad the level design is. But I really enjoyed Metroid, and if you are a Metroid fan, or if you want to get into the franchise, if you have a Switch, play Super Metroid first. Do yourself a favor. If you have a 3DS, play Return of Samus, and then play this game, because you will see how so many systems from Super Metroid and Return of Samus get perfected here. And even though it's light on the storytelling, the gameplay is so good that it feels satisfying, except for the EMMI parts. That's the only thing that I won't expect anyone to enjoy. So
definitely.
This was our Metroid Dread. We went through the whole game. This was our review, and once again, the gameplay that you see on this video is my gameplay that I ran through. This would be my third run through the game, just to capture something over what we're talking about. And Salmy has an announcement. We have picked our next Metroidvania to review, because here at Staring at Map Screens, we're all about them Metroidvanias, right?
Yes, we are. And the next Metroidvania that is it okay if I say it, right?
Yeah, say it.
Okay, yeah. The next Metroidvania that we're gonna run through is I don't know how to properly say this name, so please
say it funny.
Bear with me.
Say it funny.
Say it funny? Okay. I'm gonna try. It's Iconoclast. I can't even say it funny, god damn it. No, but yeah, it's Iconoclast. I don't know how to say it properly, I'm sorry.
So we will be playing and reviewing Iconoclast, and we'll see you in about 2 or 3 weeks as we continue our Metroidvania journey. I'm Jercyan. Follow us on Twitter and follow the YouTube channel. Subscribe so you can watch more of our Metroidvania plays. Where do we find you, Salmy?
You can find me on on Twitter, because basically that's the only thing that I got that, again, I need to give it some love. But yeah, on Twitter as @SalmyNiab, the Niab part with 2 A's. But yeah, I need to get to it and give my Twitter some love. Like, honestly, I'm super behind on that. But yeah,
share your thoughts in the comments. I will read everyone, and I'll be sure to let Salmy know.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.